Hello and welcome back to Stop and Go F1, and my god, what a qualifying session that was. I think it lasted a total of 2 hours and 1 minute. So, okay, there's a lot to get through here. We'll get into all of it because that was one of the best qualifying sessions I think I've ever seen. Especially, it's one of the most exciting ones, unpredictable. You never knew who was truly going to get pole position until the very last minute. Let's get into all of it. Before we do, though, remember to like and subscribe. Remember to give us a hype. The kids, they love the hype. And also a huge shout out to the members: Dakota, the Joyce James, Ron Myers, Sim Strudel, Michael Johnson, Mr. Eurovision 1986, No Edam on Sandwiches, Flip Gigantic, Sarah Jowett, and Andy Jones. You want to become a member? Click the link in the description down below. Get all your shout outs, get your videos early. All the fun stuff will be there. But let's start. 2 hours ago, Q1, and as we go into it, the winds are high. That was a big thing in this session. A lot of people getting caught out by the wind, but also there was a little bit of light rain towards the end of the F2 sprint race. Didn't massively affect the start of qualifying, but the light rain would come and go throughout the session. Going into it, though, off the back of FP3, both Ferraris look strong, both McLarens look strong, Max Verstappen looks strong. So we had what seemed to be a five-way fight for pole position, with Charles Leclerc looking to take his fifth Baku pole in a row. If he was able to do that, I think it would have only been the fifth time in Formula One history that would have happened. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. One of the big things of this qualifying session was the medium tyre versus the soft compound tyre. And I think because of the amount of red flags that we had, that general discussion point was kind of put to one side in the end. Because I think at the end everyone was on the softs. But to start with, Lando Norris, his first lap on the mediums is about 4/10 off the back of Charles Leclerc's time, which he set on the softs. Verstappen comes out, he sets a time which is 2/10 off of Leclerc. Verstappen also on the mediums. This is when we have our first of 6 red flags. A record for Formula One qualifying. 6 red flags on the board today. The first one coming from Alex Albon, who hit the barrier into turn 1. And yeah, he was out from there. He had set a lap time, but realistically, it did not matter at all. Very un-Albon-like mistake to make, but there was lots of people making some very silly mistakes in today's session. This was just the first of them. As we get back going again, though, Tsunoda goes up to third on the medium tyres. Really good day, I think, for Yuki Tsunoda today. Then Lewis Hamilton shows some great pace, continuing over from the practice sessions. He went top on the softs. Oscar Piastri comes out on the mediums. He goes P2 by 0.018. Again, this conversation of mediums versus softs was quite big towards the start of this session. Then we have another red flag, this time for Nico Hülkenberg, who was also in the wall, but he was able to get going from there. I feel like, of all the red flags, I understood all of them apart from this one. I feel this was a bit premature. I think this could have been a double wave yellow, because he does reverse out and he was able to go back to the pits and get everything fixed from there. I don't think this needed to be a red flag, especially when you see, obviously hindsight is 2020, but we had a lot of red flags here, and this was just unneeded. Verstappen had just set a purple sector as well, wasn't able to complete that lap. But as we get going again, Nico Hülkenberg is back on track with everyone else. Then we just have the leaderboard just being shook up everywhere, because Russell goes top on mediums, Leclerc goes top on softs, Norris goes top on softs, Verstappen goes second on the mediums by 0.009. Isaac Hadjar, I'm trying to pronounce it correctly, had a fantastic lap which saw him go 5th on the mediums. Then we get the third red flag of Q1, and that was because Gasly was off, and I was watching this, and Gasly just went deep into turn 4, and I thought, what the hell are they doing here? This definitely is not a red flag. This is absolutely ridiculous. Then they panned and showed that Colapinto had also binned it, and I went, yeah, that makes sense. That is a red flag there, and that drew Q1 to a close. With that, we have Albon qualifying 20th, the second time he has qualified 20th in the last 4 races. Pierre Gasly gets his second 19th place in a row. Esteban Ocon is 18th, that's his 9th Q1 exit this year. Nico Hulkenberg is 17th, 11 Q1 exits for him this year. And then Colapinto just missing out as well in 16th place, his 5th Q1 exit in the last 6 races. There was some discussion around him in terms of, why was he pushing so hard with the yellow flag out with Gasly off at that part of the track. But I think the replay showed that the yellow flag wasn't actually there. It was a white flag. So there was some light discussion of could he get a penalty for ignoring yellow flags, but it seems like he should be okay from there. Going into Q2 here, Isaac Hadjar has an off almost immediately going into turn 4. Thankfully not a red flag, but the lack of red flags did not last for long because Ollie Behrman hit the wall as well. Red flag for him and he was out. Ollie Behrman, who famously in Formula 2 hit the wall in Baku, bent his steering and still went on to get pole position. Not so much luck for Ollie Behrman here today. He is out, our 4th red flag of the day. As we get going again, this is when it all starts to unravel for Ferrari. Ferrari, who've looked consistently strong throughout the weekend, it all starts to go wrong here. Because on Leclerc's first fast lap, he goes deep into turn 1 and has to turn around. This brings out a yellow flag, which also interrupts the start of Hamilton's first flying lap as well. So both of them have to go again from there. Verstappen's first lap on the mediums is just 0.05 off Norris on the softs. So Verstappen is consistently quick throughout the entire weekend, and as we go towards the end of Q3, with 3 minutes on the board, Charles Leclerc was still yet to set a time. He managed to get one on the board though to go 4th, which pushed Lewis Hamilton down into the drop zone. But yeah, Charles Leclerc and Ferrari really risking it towards the end, especially with the amount of red flags that we saw. One could have happened at any time, and all of a sudden Charles Leclerc starting this race 14th place. Thankfully for him, though, he did not start 14th place, but he wasn't too far ahead of there, let's be honest. As Q2 comes to an end, this is 15th to 11th, so 15th obviously is Ollie Behrman, didn't set a time in that session. 14th was Lance Stroll, which is his second best qualifying of the last 8 races. So I guess congratulations. 13th place was Gabriel Bortoleto, his joint second worst qualifying of the last 5 races. Lewis Hamilton showing so much pace this weekend. Of course, the discussion started. Could we finally see him on the podium in a Ferrari? Is this going to be the one? You never know. Could still happen, but looking unlikely. His joint second worst qualifying of the year, starting tomorrow from 12th place, then just missing out on Q3 and ending a streak of 3 Q3s in a row is Fernando Alonso, who qualified in 11th place. Then we go to Q3, and my goodness, this session seemed to last the longest of all of them. There's slight rain falling at the start of this session, and almost immediately, we get our 5th red flag of the day as Charles Leclerc, going for his 5th pole position in a row, hits the wall and is out. Turn 15, that is it for him, and we have this wonderful little moment here where the red flag is out and the rain is starting to fall. You cast your mind back to that Brazil race where, was it 2022, where Magnussen set pole, the red flag came out, the rain came down, no one could beat him from there, he got that pole position time. We looked to the timing charts, only 3 drivers have set lap times at this point. It was Isaac Hadjar in 3rd, Liam Lawson in 2nd, and currently sitting in the top spot was Carlos Sainz in the Williams. And all of a sudden you're thinking, if more rain comes, we have a chaotic top 3 for tomorrow's race. But as we keep on going and keep on going and keep on going, we go, right, here we go. We're going to go racing once again. Lando Norris is on a good lap. Max Verstappen is on a good lap. All of a sudden, the 6th red flag of the day, Oscar Piastri is in the wall, turn 3, the World Championship leader in the wall. An incredibly rare mistake from Oscar Piastri, but one that could have proved massively costly. Thankfully for him, as we continue, it's maybe not as bad as first thought, but yes, Oscar Piastri in the wall, Turn 3, the 6th red flag of the day. This is when I was just scrolling through Twitter, as one would in your 6th red flag break of the day, and saw this tremendous statistic. The entire race for the Italian Grand Prix lasted 1 hour and 13 minutes. And at that point, this qualifying session had lasted 1 hour and 45 minutes. It would go on for another 15 minutes. But yes, so this qualifying session longer than the entirety of the last race that we had. But then we get going again. 3 minutes on the board, no more red flags to come. Everyone has set a lap time. We started with 20 cars. We are now down to 8, and any of them could have taken pole position here. The rain starts to fall a little bit. Still not heavy rain, still not in the world where we need intermediate tyres, but enough rain was falling to definitely disrupt the drivers and the cars, as we saw from Lando Norris. We ride on board with Lando Norris, and he is sliding all over the place. He was incredibly close to the wall through turn 2, incredibly close to the wall through turn 4, and then he goes through the castle section, incredibly close again. He slightly taps the side of turn 15, and he goes over the line. He's not able to beat Carlos Sainz's time, and we all think, well, at least he's P2, then everyone else sets their lap times. It turns out it got worse from there. Here is our top 10 for tomorrow's race. 10th place, obviously, Charles Leclerc going out in the early portions of Q2. His second worst qualifying of the year. 9th place, Oscar Piastri, also ended the session in the wall. His first time out of the top 4 in qualifying this year. 8th place, Isaac Hajar. His 4th Q3 appearance in the last 5 races, but he would have been wishing to be a little bit better than that. Then, in 7th place is Lando Norris, his second worst qualifying of the year. And you know what? We can talk about Piastri making mistakes, we can talk about Leclerc making mistakes, we can talk about Behrman making mistakes, we can talk about Albon making mistakes. For me, one of the biggest mistakes here was Lando Norris. You were handed a golden opportunity. You've been quick all weekend. Your closest rival is watching from the paddock because his car's in the wall. This is your opportunity to swing those points back from the Dutch Grand Prix when your engine blew up. This is your golden ticket to the championship. And what does he do? 7th place. Nowhere near good enough. He was beaten by Yuki Tsunoda in 6th. Yuki Tsunoda's best ever Red Bull qualifying. A wonderful weekend so far for Yuki Tsunoda. 5th place is George Russell, his second time this year being beaten by the man in 4th, Kimi Antonelli. Kimi Antonelli has been desperate for a good weekend. We talked about it yesterday in the preview. He needs a good weekend. So far, so good for Kimi Antonelli in 4th place. In 3rd place, Liam Lawson has his best qualifying ever. Fantastic results for Liam Lawson. To the front row, it is the man of qualifying. Carlos Sainz wasn't able to get it on pole, but he has got P2. His best qualifying since the Mexican Grand Prix last year, where he took pole position. The first Williams front row since, I've written down here, Monza 2017. I'm sure someone said that. I should probably double check it in case it's wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is what they said on the commentary. Fantastic result from Carlos Sainz, really proven it's just about getting that lap in whenever you can. A wonderful lap from him. But, my goodness, for the second time this year, a driver has taken 2 poles back-to-back, and for the second time this year, it is Max Verstappen. Absolutely fantastic, wonderful stuff. I'm going to double check that stat for Williams. Well, of course, there is the Belgium Grand Prix of 2021, if you count that as a race. Without that, it is Italy 2017, the last front row of a legitimate race for the Williams team. But yeah, Max Verstappen, absolutely incredible. His 6th pole position of the year. That is the most of anyone this year. As I said before, back-to-back pole positions. No McLaren driver has got back-to-back poles this year. Max Verstappen has done it twice. In a weekend where everyone is making mistakes, Max Verstappen continues to be absolutely perfect. A beautiful, beautiful pole position lap. I haven't even written down what the gap was. 1 second, let me find it for you right now. as I'm just searching through here. Azerbaijan 2025 qualifying. 4 tenths of a second up on everyone. 0.478 there. Max Verstappen quicker than Carlos Sainz. He was over a second faster than Lando Norris on the lap there. Beautiful. Perfect stuff. In the weekend where the McLaren boys should almost definitely seal the Constructors' Championship, both of them made huge errors here so far in this weekend. And you know what? It's not over. It's far from over. As we've already seen today, anything can happen and the entire order could be on their head this time tomorrow. But as we get closer and closer towards the end of this year, Max Verstappen's chances become more and more likely. It's still incredibly unlikely, but you take the Monza performance, you take this performance, if he can continue to string this along, all of a sudden, Max Verstappen, 5-time champion of the world, becomes more and more likely. Let me dream. Just this once. We'll see how it goes. Who knows what will happen tomorrow? If this is anything to go by, expect absolute chaos, and I'll be here to discuss all of it with you then. Until then, have a wonderful evening. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.